Okay. Did you see that Dawn Robinson from In Vogue? She just posted a video the other day. She's 58 years old. She's from the R&B, the iconic R&B group In Vogue, and she was in her car and she made a video and she said, "Hey guys, like I've been living in my car for 3 years." Did you see that, J Rob?
I saw it.
Wow. I tried to look up and see if she had any kids. I didn't find anything on Google that said she had any kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, does she have any kids? Like, oh my god. But yeah, so she posted a video saying that she lives in her car and she's been living in her car for 3 years. And so she started telling, what was going on with her. So she started off with saying that she was living with her mother. And she said, basically like, her mother's just unhappy and she takes her anger out on her. And it was getting to a point where, she was reacting and, she didn't want to be disrespectful. She respected her mother too much. And she was like, I just want to get out of here. I just want to leave. So it's like, I related to that very well because I couldn't, I would have loved to live at home. Even now, like, cause like my whole goal was, cause the pandemic kind of like messed everything up, like with my money and like with the job stuff, like like it did with a lot of people. But I lived at home with my grandmother. She's like, that's one of my homes. Like that's one of my second homes. Like my parents' house and my grandmother's house. Like they were, you have that grandma that had it's like a second home to you or whatever, right? And in that grandma where like everyone has lived at her house at some point. Your uncles, your dad, your cousins, your aunts, everybody had lived there at some point. But anyway, that what Dawn said, it hit home because I'm just like, it gets to a point where like I don't know if people need therapy. I feel like people need therapy at any age, and even though it's that person's house, and they may be miserable or they may be going through some emotional things, and you're the one there with them, so they can direct their anger towards you. I know that very well, and I would have loved to like live at home. Even now, I'm 31. I would have loved to still live at home, even with me getting a new job and stuff. I would have loved to still live at home and stack up my money and buy a house. Like that was my goal. My goal was to live at home and to buy it, because I've been in apartments since I was freaking 1920. Like I've been like in college. I always lived off campus because it was cheaper. It was smarter to live off campus, and I've been having apartments since I was like 20 years old. And I want to buy a house. So when I went back home after graduating and stuff, and I went back home, I wanted to stay there and live there and get my money up, get the right job. Well, first find the right job, because like after college, it's not always easy peasy. Like you gotta grind and try to find the right job, and sometimes you may not have a job until like a couple years after you graduate. But I got the job, or I got the job that I wanted or whatever. But it's like I wanted to stay and stack my money, but it's just like the animosity and like the is it animosity? Or the tension from like, feeling like you're a target, feeling like you're getting beat up on, and just because someone's miserable or someone's frustrated with their self and, whatever, it becomes disruptive. And plus I work from home. So I'm at home in the day as well. And like, it will be conflicts during the day that'll disrupt my work. And I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what's going on with you? Like, are you miserable? Are you frustrated? Like, what's going on with you? Like, what is, because people, people just don't be happy in their lives sometimes. Like, a lot of times, like older women, older people, like they may be lonely, they may be frustrated. They don't know how to, because I just feel like, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but like, I just feel like, our parents and grandparents generation, I just feel like they were just very oppressed and to the point where like they don't have their own emotional intelligence. Like I feel like our parents and grandparents generation is the two of the most toxic generations like ever. Okay, because right now I feel like our generation, we're very we're into therapy. We're very emotionally intelligent. Like we can vocalize toxic social behaviors and we're all about boundaries now, and we're all about this and that now. But but before, our parents and our grandparents, they weren't into that. They didn't believe in therapy. They didn't believe in accountability. Of course not. Like, why would they? You know what I'm saying? So I get that wholeheartedly. Like, not wanting to live at home is it's a disruptive place. And you know, with Dawn Robinson from In Vogue, it was disruptive to the point where she will sleep. She'd rather sleep in the car than live with her mom, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather get another apartment than live at home, because it's my peace. My peace is top priority. Because listen, like, I'm refuse to lose my mind because someone else is miserable. I refuse. It's my life and I want to be happy. It's my life, it's my story, it's my experience, and I'm not going to endure that. I'm not. And like, I keep trying to tell y'all, like, losing your mind can kill you. Losing your mind can kill you.
Yep.
So you have to protect your peace. Your peace should be a number one priority. Your peace, your health, your mental health, your physical health, all that shit. So yeah, with Dawn, she rather live in her car than live with her mom, and that's heartbreaking for me. And on top of that, that brings me back to our conversation. I don't know if it was an episode or two ago when I discussed how, you know, people like Rihanna and Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion and all them, they are focused on, you know, entrepreneurship in other avenues, in liquor, in cosmetics and lingerie and other things that are more lucrative than music, because music, you know, other industries seem to be more promising than music is, if that makes sense. Like Rihanna would say, like, you know, I want to have a career where I don't have to tour to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rihanna makes money in her sleep. Rihanna was just in Barbados promoting, I don't know which Fenty brand she was promoting. I don't know what she put out, I forgot, but she was in Barbados at home. She went back home and opened up something back home somewhere for people to buy, so she can be more rich and she can create more wealth for her babies. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but it's like, you know, I feel like people in Dawn Robinson's, you know, that even the industry back then, like, that was back in like the 90s, right? Like, that was crazy. And then I think she joined In Vogue in 1989 or 1980s or whatever, I think. And because Dawn Robinson, she's 58 years old right now. She's my mom's age. And she's living in her car. She's been living in her car for 3 years. I guess I can just play the clip for you, and then I'm going to also play another clip because they were trying to call out Jermaine Dupri, saying that Jermaine Dupri should help her. But let me just play her clip where she revealed that she's in her car first. Hold on.
You guys, for the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. I said it. Oh my God, it's out. I've been living in my car. Oh my gosh. If you remember, if you guys were with me, in 2020, I did like 105,000 interviews. And in the interim, I was living with my parents in Vegas. And that was wonderful until it wasn't. I love my mom, but she became very angry. And a lot of her anger she was taking out on me, and I was her target all the time. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I respect her too much. Let me get out of here. And I was sleeping in my car for maybe about a month in Vegas. And then the guy that was co-managing me at the time was living in LA, and he said, you need to come back to LA. Okay. And he said that I could stay with him. And so I was like, okay. He's like, I don't have a lot of room, but I'll make room for you. And then when I got to his place, he actually didn't have room for me. So it turned into, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a hotel for the night. And that one night turned into 8 months. Oh my God, you guys. Because every apartment that I looked at, every single time I looked at a place, I would call him and I'm like, okay, can you meet me here? I would tell him ahead of time, of course. And then he wouldn't meet me there until I would take video and send it to him. And he's like, no, oh my God, this neighborhood, I hate it. I mean, I felt like he was playing games, and I knew he was playing games, and I wasn't the one. I'm like, come on, I'm trying to make this easier on you because financially, I know it's got to be hard. You're paying your rent and you're paying my hotel. His apartment was $1,700 a month. And then my hotel was over $3,000. Yep. So, and I was always stressed every week because he would pay weekly for the hotel. So every week I was like, oh my God, can you afford it? Are you okay? And he's like, no, I can't, but I'm getting it together. What? You're the one who said to go to the hotel, and you're not approving any of the
She's
apartments.
talking about her manager was like giving her the runaround. He was paying for her to stay in hotels until she got her. He at first he agreed to let her move in with him until she found somewhere to stay. Then he paid for her to stay in hotels, and she was trying to find apartments for him to help her pay for, and he was giving her the runaround with that, and then eventually she ended up like living in her car. And she said her mom was started to become angry, and she was the target. And also, this is another thing too, and I'm gonna get to what Jermaine Dupri had to say. This is also why when you have kids, make sure you're ready to have kids, or make sure that you're mentally prepared to have kids, because if you're going through your own traumas, that can affect your kids, and then they'll grow resentment towards you. There's people that are grown that still have traumas or still have resentments towards their parents from things that happened when they were children. So it's very important to be healthy, mentally healthy, before you have kids, and I feel like a lot of times, and I know we're black, and in black culture, we're raised differently or whatever, but I just feel like, it's good to have boundaries. It's good to have discipline, or to give discipline, but I just think that a lot of times, children aren't looked at as people when it comes to their parents. It's almost like children are their property. I mean, they belong to you. Your children belong to you, but they're still people. And I think that your child should still be treated as a person. Like, a person deserves respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though the Bible says, yes, honor thy father and thy mother, it also says, thou shalt not provoke the child to anger. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, kids are people. Like, even your offspring is a person too. They need to honor you, but you have to also respect your child. So it's just like you're creating that animosity, and it's just like this 58-year-old woman has been living in her car for 3 years. She'd rather live in her car than live with her mother. That's insane. Anyway, so they were calling out Jermaine Dupri. I guess listen, I forgot. Was Jermaine Dupri a producer at some point for En Vogue? I can't remember, because I don't think did he sign them? I don't remember, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
But they called out Jermaine Dupri, and so this is what Jermaine Dupri had to say. Hold on.
It was her choice to be in the car. Somebody sent a message and say, Jermaine, Monica, all of y'all, can y'all put some money together to help
Monica.
Dawn out? From my understanding, for her to speak on it the way she spoke on it, she was basically saying that she saw other people living in their vans, living in RVs, and she welcomed the idea of doing this. Somebody said her choice or limited options. It was her choice to be in the car. I saw somebody send a message.
So I didn't see the part where she talked about she saw people in vans and RVs living in the car. I didn't see that part where she said that. I mean, technically, yes, it is a choice, but she just doesn't have any better circumstance. I think that's the whole thing about that. I mean, I don't think it'll be great for them to help her out, but I mean, I don't see, I'm sure he feels bad for her situation, but I don't think in this instance, I don't know. I don't think it's someone else's responsibility to I don't think he's wrong in his stance, in my opinion. I mean, it is her choice to live in her car. She doesn't have any other circumstance, but like, I don't think that you need to, like, I don't know, hound him on, like, get Monica, get so and so, and all y'all, and Missy Elliott, and like social deaf, like, hello, help her. I don't know, Alicia Keys. I just can't. I don't know. Like, it's just like, because they could probably help out and give her opportunities to make money.
Exactly.
That'll be good, but I just feel like the business, or over the course of her career, the business wasn't handled right, because she shouldn't be. I just feel like she shouldn't be in this situation at her age, at all. So there's that. I'll say that too. Some things weren't, things led up to this. Decisions led up to this. Yeah. And I hate that she's in this circumstance. I will say that, though. That's horrible. I wouldn't wish homelessness on anyone at all. I'm sure, like, I think, having a job is a blessing. I have a job and I am blessed, and I'm happy that I'm able to provide for myself. But hopefully, I will never get in a situation where I need to like be homeless. I mean, I have family members that, of course, they're not going to let me be homeless,
Right.
but it's just healthier for me to not live with certain family members, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you gotta
no,
protect yourself.
I'm grown, okay? But anywho, yeah. So that's it for me. I didn't want to. I just had a few things to touch on. That's about it. Did you have any topics that you wanted to discuss before we go into the shows and the seen and heard and the music and heard on this was Heard on the Curb, guys. This was Heard on the Curb.